Just like when you're dating someone, get married, or have kids, when you start a business, it is like people bombard you with advice that is all contradicting, right? Yes. So in this series about business, we have my wonderful friend, Laura Benson, joining us. She is the owner of Philly Flair, an online boutique that she's built to be a multi-million-dollar brand. She also owns other businesses and products on top of that. Plus, she is a wife, 2 kids at home, and she is currently 6 months pregnant. So she's got a lot going on, and we're going to learn a lot from her today. Laura, I'm sure in your business, you probably have received so much advice from so many different people. Yeah. And it's hard to know who to listen to, who not to listen to, and when to implement things. So what would you say for you are the top 2 best pieces of business advice you've ever received, and why did that advice help you so much?
Yeah, so, it's funny. I started my business in my early 20s, and I think when you're at that point of your life, there's a lot of unknowns. Yeah. And so as I brought people into my business, that most of them were older, and so I thought that they would have a lot of the answers that I would need for me to grow my business. And some had really good pieces of wisdom. But the 2 things that I would say really stuck with me is one time I had a mentor tell me that always go with your gut. Yeah. No matter how many people you bring into your business, no matter how many consultants that have much more years of experience, no one knows your business like you do. If you've been operating and running your business, you understand the nuts and bolts that most people don't. And it doesn't mean that there isn't really good advice out there, but I think it's very important to always go with your gut. And if you feel like something might work or something is wrong, you need to go with your gut intuition. So that was huge for me because there were times when I truly felt that, but I felt like, well, this person, I'm 25, this person has more wisdom than I do. Yeah. Let's try this. And it did not work. So that was a really big piece of advice for me. And then the other one was just knowing that really successful entrepreneurs usually are just decisive and make moves. And as I have gotten older and more experienced, I have seen that as I look back on my own business, that the times when I was just willing to go all in and try things is usually when something good came out of it. And the interesting part about that is it usually wasn't what I maybe expected, but it evolved. And so don't wait until you have that exact perfect, every plan laid out the way you plan, or the way you want it to be. You might just need to dive in and be decisive and go with something.
Yeah, be risky, which is scary at the same time.
But it is, but I think that's how you learn. That's how I've learned everything in my business, is by trying something and evolving that into whatever the best outcome was.
Yeah. It reminds me of a Wells Fargo commercial where it shows this guy who owns a business in his garage and he's taking calls and he's like, hello, can we do that? Yeah, sure we can do that.
Yes.
It's figured out along the way.
Yeah, 100%. That is how I have done a lot of my business. And I truly believe had I waited till I had all the answers before I did those things, I would not be where I am.
Yeah, or it wouldn't have been fast enough. It would have been behind the curve.
100%.
The best piece of business advice I ever heard is from one of my mentors. Her name's Genevieve Boss. So Genevieve, thank you for this. But she gave me this advice a couple of months before I started my consulting business. And I was trying to figure out how I wanted to set up the business and what kind of logistics I wanted to have. And she called me and she told me, Sarah, you need to think of your dream lifestyle and then build a business to make that dream lifestyle come true. And when I really thought about it, Laura, deep in my heart, I wanted 3 things. I wanted time, freedom, and flexibility. And so that advice helped me so much because I knew from the very beginning kind of how to set up my business. So I could work wherever my laptop was or wherever my phone was. I could work with different consultants and outsource things. So that advice was extremely helpful for me.
That's awesome.
And Laura, thank you so much for being on this
series. Thank you so much for having me.
You are such a joy. And I just feel very privileged to have you in my life.
Well, same.
Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you.
And ladies, your challenge this week is to listen to your gut, just like what Laura said. I've also heard before that deep gut feelings can be the Holy Spirit whispering to you and speaking things into you. So there's a lot of power to listening to your gut. So be the kind of woman and business owner that listens to what your gut is telling you.